Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive in the left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay, so welcome to the show, everybody. The Yankees just finished off a stretch of 12 games against 4 American League playoff contenders, 4 teams that will all most likely be in the postseason this year, 4 consecutive series. And they won 3 of those series, and they won 7 of those 12 games. So I would call that a successful stretch. I think we saw some very, very promising signs during this stretch of games that everybody was calling the gauntlet, a litmus test. If you go back, if you remember, to the beginning of the stretch, I, here on the show, on social media, and I apologize if you're watching the video format of the show on YouTube. I do apologize. It might be a little choppy. I gotta get like a laptop. I've been using a tablet for these 900 episodes that we're now doing. I gotta get myself a fucking laptop because this shit sucks and it's been shitty for years. But I apologize for the choppiness. Listen, I consider this a successful stretch because at the beginning of the stretch, social media, on here, on the podcast, I said it's not really for me about the results. Like the big picture takeaway won't really be about what their record is. It's just how it looks. And yes, there was some sloppiness. Right? You can't deny that there was definitely some sloppiness to this to this stretch and to the series. But I thought for the most part, especially this series at Fenway, I thought the Yankees played good baseball with emphasis on baseball. I thought it was a clean series without meltdowns. I enjoyed the style of play. Some of the way they were getting their offense. I enjoyed the clutch play. I was good with a lot of the decision making. I thought that the bullpen's attack strategy was good, and we're going to get into all of that stuff specifically in this show. But I felt that the Yankees took these games serious. They took it like a postseason series, like a preview to what the American League wild card will most likely be. Yankees-Boston. They took it that serious, and that was a good thing for me. They actually showed us for once, hey, we do value certain games more than others. Because Aaron Boone's always trying to play coy and be like, oh, they're all the same. No, like, you're playing your Boston Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox. That's your rival. That's the team you're going to be facing. So, yes, it's nice. We will get to it all in a bit. But the Yankees end this stretch winning 7 of 12 in 3 out of the 4 series. That's good. That's good. It means a lot psychologically entering October, right? That helps. It means a lot, obviously, for the American League standings. You're now 2 up on Boston in the loss column. And it doesn't mean, what it doesn't mean is, and we've spoken about this plenty already, but it doesn't mean, anything regarding predicting how the postseason is going to go, right? Just because you beat, American League contenders in these September games, which will be exhibition games in half a month from now, it doesn't mean that you're going to beat these American League contenders in the postseason. So that should be, that it's obvious, but I do feel like some people were taking these games a little too serious. But you know what? The Yankees take 2 out of 3 in Boston, and we're going to discuss it here in the show. So let's get to that the minute that we return from our first break here on episode 900 of BD4. Folks, welcome to episode 900. We've been doing this thing a long time, and again, bear with me here because I am very choppy. I'm going to have to probably make this shit a fucking audio-only episode because of how goddamn shitty this tablet that I'm using is. So, we're going to head to a break, and while we're at that break, I'm going to scream my head off on mute. Stay with
Break
us.
here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation.
Okay, welcome back to the show. And as you see, we're most likely going to have to do some audio in this show. I'll try to get the video format. I'll try to get the video camera up when I can, but the CPU usage is fucking, for some reason, very high, and it's choppy, and it's looking like it's lagging. So we're going to have to, grind through this one, unfortunately. And what was a very big series. But in the first game of this series, nope, still not working. This is ridiculous. In the first game of this series, the Yankees won 4-1 over the Red Sox. The righty Luis Seal took on the righty Lucas Giolito. The Yankee bats go for 4 runs on 9 hits, 2 extra base hits, 4 walks, strike out 8 times, and they go 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Against Giolito, they get 2 runs in 5 1/3. One of those runs came top of the first. Aaron Judge, his 362nd home run. He'd go on to hit some more homers in this series. But this one, 362nd home run of his career, which passed Joe DiMaggio on the Yankee all-time list. And it was also, I believe they said, the deepest home run hit in Fenway this year. It was over and past the Green Monster. Top 3, Bellinger slaps an RBI single. And then against the Boston bullpen, the Yankees get 2 more runs in 3 1/3 innings. Top 7, you had Ryan McMahon with an RBI fielder's choice. Ben Rice, an RBI single. Both of those hits came off the lefty Justin Wilson, former Yankee. That made it 4-0 Yankees. So there was your offense. Ben Rice goes 2 for 3 in RBI. He did miss a scoop at first base in this game. Jazz Chisholm goes 2 for 4. Couple of stolen bases. He also got caught stealing. He made an E4, but he also made a very nice play at second base in this game, stopping a ball from getting to the outfield. Caballero goes 1 for 4 with a double, a stolen base, and an E6. McMahon goes 1 for 4 with a bunt single and an RBI. And Aaron Judge 1 for 3, couple of walks, home run, and an RBI. So that was your offensive production. We'll talk about Luis Seal in just a second. After him, the bullpen won 3 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 run. It was Cruz to Williams to Bednar, who were all pretty good, 7, 8, 9. Cruz in the bottom of the 7th obviously gives up that solo home run to Eaton. It was a hanging sinker. This was actually Boston's first hit of the night to make it 4-1 Yankees. But that was it. Bottom 8, Williams gets the call over Weaver. Scared me, but paid off. And then Bednar was 1, 2, 3 in the 9th. But we are going to tip our cap to Luis Seal, who was the starting pitcher in this game. And let's see if I can get some video format in here without it lagging on us. Luis Seal We're going to tip our cap to him for the third time this year. 6 innings, no runs, no hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 93 pitches in the win. That's right, no hits allowed. He was pulled 93 pitches. Listen, the Yankees need Luis Seal. He's coming back from a scary arm injury. I get it. They weren't gonna. He was way too inefficient for him to go the full 9 if that was going to be the case. So he goes 6 innings, no hits, but he was very sharp right off the bat here, because I don't want to make this what we end on talking about Luis Seal. So I'll say it up front here. He did have issues in this game. It wasn't a pretty start. He had the same issues that he's been having all year, where he's seemingly sacrificing velocity and swing and miss to throw it a little slower for more control, but he's still very wild, and to me, that's a bad formula if we're talking about going forward, right? The fact that you're still wild and you're not getting swing and miss is not really what I like to see from a guy who won Rookie of the Year because he was throwing hard despite being wild, because that fastball at 98 was getting swing and miss. But yeah, he was a little wild. Bottom 3, he's got the number 9 hitter up with a 690s OPS in Rafaela, and he walks him with 1 out. And it was annoying because he was spamming a bunch of off-speed pitches to him. Just go to your fastball there. He's not a good hitter. Bottom 5, he walks the first 2 batters. Narvaez walks, whatever. He's a decent hitter. But then some nobody comes up to the plate, this guy Hamilton, and he walks this guy Hamilton. He was ahead 0-2 to this random. But then he starts spamming his off-speed pitches again, changeups, sliders, and he ends up going from 0-2 to a walk on some random Hamilton. But again, outside of that, outside the 4 walks, at the end of the day, he continues to get results for now. Luis Seal, you look up, and through 8 starts, 41 in a third innings, he's 4-1 with a 2.83 ERA. So he's been very successful in run prevention. And listen, you go back to the bottom of the 5th inning with all the base runners that he put on there and the mistakes that were made, he didn't let it get to him. And I thought that was a big sign of growth from Luis Hill. We'll talk more about that later. But that was your Friday game where the Yankees won 4-3 or 4-1. Saturday, if I can get to it without getting without lagging here. Saturday, the Yankees win 5-3. You had the lefty Max Fried against the righty Brian Bayo. The Yankee bats go for 5 runs on 10 hits, 4 extra base hits, 4 walks, strike out 7 times. They go 3 for 11 in scoring position against Brian Bayo, 4 runs in 5 innings. So the Yankees hit another real good pitcher, by the way. And then we'll go on to do that against Crochet today. But yeah, they hit Bayo, who's got some pretty good stuff. Top of the 1st inning, Bellinger and Jazz with RBIs. Top of the 3rd inning, Jazz with another RBI. Jazz in the 5th inning with the home run to make it 4-zip. And then against the Boston bullpen, the Yankees get 1 more run in the 4 innings they pitched, and obviously that run came top of the 9th inning against Aroldis Chapman in a 4-3 game. Bellinger at the plate picks up a 2-strike RBI double off the monster. Just an impeccable at-bat left on left to make it 5-3. He goes 2 for 4 with that double, 2 RBIs, a sac fly. Jazz goes 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, 1 home run. He's now 40-40 as a Yankee, so that's pretty freaking cool. Caballero went 1 for 4 with a double in this game. What else? Ben Rice 1 for 4 with a double. Jason Dominguez in this game goes 1 for 3 with a walk, and then Grisham was 0 for 3 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Max Fried got the start, 5 1/3, 2 runs, 9 hits, couple of walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed, 105 pitches, and he gets the win. Not a great start for Max Fried by any mean, but he gets through it because he's the ace of the staff, and he's now put together a really strong bounce back after that little slump he went in the middle of the summer there. It's like 5 consecutive solid starts from him. Again, not great, but he was enough. He had a very even pitch mix in this game. He was mixing up everything pretty evenly. 21 curveballs, 20 changeups, 20 cutters, 19 sinkers, 17 four-seamers, and then 8 sliders / sweepers. So doing a really good job with the off-speed, the curveball, and the changeup, generating a lot of soft contact. The velocity was up on his four-seam fastball. The cutter and sinker was 95, 96, but that four-seamer, you saw it consistently sitting 97, 98. He even touched 99 a few times. A lot of these guys in Boston this weekend were throwing hard, so I don't know if the gun was amped up a little bit, but it was still nice to see. He was getting a lot of swing and miss. He got Bregman to strike out swinging, blowing 99 right by him. He went 99 top of the zone to get Rafaela. He goes 97 mile an hour with sink to Gonzalez to get him striking out on a foul tip. Some really impressive strikeouts with that fastball. Bottom 6, he's got an out. Boone comes out to the mound after he puts some runners on. Talks Boone to keeping him into the game. Ends up giving up the RBI base hit after that. Struggled with his command in the inning. Eaton, Sogard, and Wong with back-to-back-to-back singles off him. So doesn't end his day very well. But at the end of the day, again, 5 1/3, 2 runs is not the worst in the world. The bullpen goes 3 2/3, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. You go Weaver to Williams to Cruz to Bednar. Bottom 6, Weaver did a great job working out of trouble there. Bottom 7, Williams was great again. Bottom 8, Cruz struggled again. Gives up the pinch hit solo home run to Duran. He hung a forkball. His forkball has been lacking in his recent outings. That made it 4-3. But bottom 9, Bednar comes in and he goes 1-2-3 again to secure the victory for the Yankees. And then you get to today, Sunday. The Yankees win, the Yankees lose this final game here, 6-4. You have the righty Will Warren against the righty Crochet, so already lost the matchup there. And the game was sort of over after the first inning. The first 2 innings, the game was over. Will Warren had a tough outing. He goes 5 innings in total, 6 runs, 10 hits, a walk, only 2 strikeouts, gives up a home run, 89 pitches in the loss. Continues to struggle against playoff lineups. That's a thing. He's got a few clunkers this year. Couple of them against the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Jays. It's part of being a rookie. You're not going to be good against everybody right away. But he definitely has work to do. He needs, better pitch mix, development of that curveball, the changeup, the sinker to help him get left-handed bats. That sinker command I'm noticing needs improvement. Maybe less traditional arm side location with it. And he needs to try to front hip that sinker to lefties more. Because with his arm slot, I feel like they're picking up the ball well when he throws that sinker away from lefties into righties. I would try to front hip it to lefties and even go away on righties with it just to give a different look. And then mix in that changeup a little more, try to improve that pitch. The command on that needs to be better. But yeah, I thought he was too much fastball, not really going off speed enough for a team that was all over his 2-seam and 4-seam in this game. But, listen, Will Warren's had a good year. And I think Yankees fans are really bad at not making everything a big picture takeaway. I feel like we don't do a good job of reacting rationally sometimes. And I think Will Warren's a pitcher with good talent. And I think a lot of us are also awful at using baseball to depict if we're going to like a player or not. A lot of us just treat them like robots, or it's like, oh, your numbers are bad right now, so you're going to be a bad player. Like, no. Ben Rice his numbers were awful last year, but people saw the talent in him. They saw the tool set, the indicating metrics. And I think Will Warren can be a major league pitcher, and he's shown that this year. So at the end of the day, not a good outing by any stretch of the means, but I don't think the defense helped him very much early on. I think he had some tough luck contact also in this game, some soft ground balls, some pop-ups that weren't handled right. And then bottom of the fifth, did a nice job working into and out of trouble when it could have got even worse, but he kept the game in reach, and he gave his offense a chance. But yeah, he's having a nice rookie season so far for the Yankees. No big picture takeaway because Will Warren's not going to sniff the mound in the postseason. At least not in the first 2 rounds if the Yankees win the wild card and get to the division too. So that was it for Warren. The lineup made things pretty interesting, I guess. They did enough against Crochet. 3 runs in 6 innings. His stuff was sharp tonight too. I mean, he had 12 strikeouts. The stuff was working. But you get 3 runs and 6 on Crochet, that's a win for the best left-handed pitcher in the game. Top of the 4th inning, Ahmed Rosario, a 2-run shot to cut the deficit to 4. Top of the 5th inning, Aaron Judge, a solo home run. He goes deep off Crochet again. This cuts the deficit to 3. And then the bullpen for Boston comes in later. The Yankees get 1 more run in the total of 3 innings against them. That run came top 7, Caballero, solo home run against the bullpen to cut the deficit to 2. Top 8, the Yankees had a chance. Judge with a leadoff base hit, but they strand him with 3 of the worst at-bats you're going to see. Bellinger strikes out looking in a 3-pitch at-bat. Stanton strikes out looking on a 2-seamer below the zone. This was a tough call. And then Grisham strikes out swinging. He wasn't even close the entire at-bat. He was pinch hitting, but wasn't good, and he continues to tank as the postseason nears, so that's not great. But that was your final game of the set. Again, you throw it away because the Yankees wrap up a 12-game gauntlet stretch with 7 wins. So we're going to talk more about it when we return from break here. Stay with us on BD4.
Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
Okay, welcome back to the show. I appreciate you all tuning in. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves, and it's something we have ranted about multiple times, is people who criticize this Yankee lineup for being like home run or bust. For a lineup that is not just first in home runs, but also they're first in walks, they're 4th in sacrifice flies, and they're 4th overall in on-base percentage. That's very much like not just home run or bust. This means the Yankees are elite at both creating runs and putting themselves in position to create even more runs. You can't be home run or bust when you're on base more than almost everybody in baseball. Like if the Yankees weren't getting on base, or if they were just doing it at an average rate, middle of the pack in OBP, I could maybe understand calling their lineup home run or bust. But literally, they're one of the best in the league at the number 1 job of offense, reaching base safely. No lineup, because you hear this so much about the Yankees. They hit so much home runs, such a bad thing. No lineup. Try to find me one single lineup in this game that's truly this like mythical, well-rounded offense. Like if you're a big batting average guy, which is dumb to critique the Yankees' batting average since their on-base percentage is very high. Every team, in terms of batting average, is in the same ballpark. Everyone is like 250s or worse. There are a few teams, Milwaukee and Toronto, who are up there in average, but they don't have a ton of power. Modern baseball is built on power. Home runs drive offense. They win World Series. The Yankees, as much as some people want to believe it, aren't this uniquely flawed team. No, they're not uniquely flawed for playing the same way as everybody else. To call that a problem is not analysis. It's, in my opinion, entitlement. No lineup checks every single box offensively. Expecting them to be that is just pure delusion. It's fantasy. Especially in this age where pitching is dominating the way that pitching is dominating. In the playoffs, okay, when the Yankees are facing Garrett Crochet in the wild card series, would you rather bank on the Yankees getting 3 or 4 straight hits in the inning against Crochet, or capitalizing on one bad cutter that he leaves middle for a home run? What's easier to do? Please, you tell me. Small ball is okay against bad pitching, but for elite pitching that you're going to see in October, you need power. It's just wild to me that, like, the Yankees have over 250 home runs, and it's like 30-something more than the next closest team, with still 2 weeks to play, by the way, and people are looking at that as bad. Again, they play the same style as everybody else, and they do it better, but because they do it so much better, people see that number, 250 whatever home runs, and be like, oh, they hit too many of them. It's, bro, I wrote a whole blog on it because it's such a pet peeve of mine. It's just a crazy take to me. Only in New York City does such a fantastic accomplishment get looked at in a negative light like that. You know, like, it's getting me to a point where I would just love for the Yankees next year to just scrap all their good power bats. Judge, Stanton, see ya. Build a team of 1970s slap hitters that single to right field all the time, just to prove a point, and watch them lose, 90 games. Like, it's crazy people actually think this lineup is a problem because they hit so many home runs, which is the most efficient outcome of the game. Now, that all said, okay, this series, the Yankees, I thought this series did an excellent job of proving that point, that they aren't just home run dependent and that they can score in the many ways as they've done all year. Because this series, if you watched especially those first 2 games, the Yankees mixed their usual power with a little bit of small ball. On Friday, they had 7 singles. They had a bunt single in there. They had 3 stolen bases. It's tough to steal 3 bases in a game on a great catcher like Carlos Narvaez. They had a couple of nice advances on the bases, right? Jazz advancing home. He was called out, but he was really safe. Caballero scoring on a ground ball contact play, which allowed McMahon to get to second base, which eventually allowed McMahon to score on the Ben Rice base hit. Saturday, they did the same thing, playing some small ball. They had 6 singles. Bellinger had a sac fly. Jazz Chisholm, how about him getting Wood on the bat for a soft infield single the other way to beat the shift? Bellinger and Jazz, back-to-back singles. Jazz going the other way again. More great reads on the bases. You had Aaron Judge going first to third on a Bellinger base hit to beat Rafaela's throw to third. And then you get to the top of the 9th, and you want to talk about playing small ball. How about that Bellinger at-bat against Aroldis Chapman, left on left, spoiling pitch after pitch until he jumps fastball. Bellinger is such a perfect fit between Judge and Stanton. I know Stanton wasn't playing in this game, but he's the perfect contact bat to have to break up the 2 righty power hitters in Judge and Stanton. To put that in between those 2 guys, it's huge because you can exploit the 3-batter minimum. You're not going to get the same off-speed pitches. It's such an important bat to have between those 2. And Bellinger, just such a good hitter like a really good 2-strike contact hitter, somebody who doesn't just sell out for power. He knows when to pull for power, but he also knows when to spoil it foul, and he knows when to shorten up, get the bat head out, poke it to left field. And in this at-bat, he's immediately down right away, 0-2 to Chapman. He works the count to 3-2, and then he gets a base hit to left field on the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Just impeccable at-bat. Takes an 0-2 slider in the dirt. That's when Chapman throws a wild pitch to even up the count. He spits on another slider away. That brings the count to a full count. Spoils a tough slider below the zone. Spoils a tough fastball away. And then fouls off the 3rd consecutive pitch. It's a slider up and in. And then finally on the 9th pitch of the at-bat, he shoots a 97-mile-an-hour sinker up and out, exactly where it's pitched, for an RBI single off the Green Monster. Or double, whatever it was. Gets the run across. That's small ball. Doing what he needs to just to get the run in. Do just enough, right? And that's this Yankees offense. I believe this Yankee lineup has just the right mix. You just need to have the right mix, right? That's all you need for the playoffs. Have the right blend. A ton of power with the ability to play small ball once in a while. Let me say that one more time. A ton of power with the ability to play small ball once in a while. This series, the Yankees played small ball. But at the end of the day, they also finished with 5 home runs in the series. So ability is the key word here, because old man, your old school fan is going to make it seem like you need your entire identity to be small ball. No. You need power. You need power 80%, if not more. But you do need a little bit of that old school. And I feel like the Yankees have enough of that in their lineup. So that was the first positive sign I saw from them this series. I also want to talk about a couple of other things. I really liked the fact that the Yankees bent a lot in this series, but they did not break. How many times this season have the Yankees completely imploded in a single inning to turn a very close game into a complete blowout? The answer? Too many freaking times, right? Whether it's errors, walks, managerial decisions, etc., etc., etc. It always happens, especially against Toronto and Boston. But you go back to Friday, and I want to go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Again, Luis Gil. He issues 2 leadoff walks. There's a wild pitch in there. A little bit later in the inning, he balks. So he's got all that going on. Could have completely unraveled, okay? But he finishes it off, and he gets out of it. He gets Eaton to pop up, 96 top of the zone. He started ramping up the fastball in this inning. He gets Rafael to strike out swinging. He threw him an excellent changeup. And then he gets Duran. He lines out to Stanton. The Yankees usually melt down in an inning like that. In the past, Luis Gil completely unravels. You go back to Saturday. The Yankees escaped a few jams that they normally wouldn't. Bottom of the 1st, they had 2 on, 2 outs, Boston did, right after the Yankees gave free 2 runs. Boston's got 2 on with 2 outs. It could have been very bad, because Fried's a pitcher who usually takes a while to find the right pitch mix. He reminds me of Montgomery. He's got so many pitches, so many types of fastballs and off speed that he throws that it's going to take him a while to find which one's working. But he gets out of it. He gets Narvaez to ground out. He jams him inside with a cutter. Bottom of the 2nd inning, you got 1st and 3rd for Boston with 1 out in a 2-0 game still. Again, it could have been bad, but he starts pumping up the fastball. He goes 99 top of the zone to get Rafael to strike out swinging. He goes 97 with sink to Gonzalez to get him to strike out swinging. Gets out of it. And then the bottom of the 6th inning, Boston, 1st and 2nd, 1 out in a 4-2 game. Game's kind of on the line here. The momentum you could feel shifting. Max Fried tries to stay in the game, couldn't get it done. He's pulled for Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver comes in, who it could have been bad with how bad Weaver struggled lately. He comes in, He goes 3 changeups in a row to finish off Rafaela, strikes him out. Right-handed bat, by the way. He goes changeup below the zone to him. It works. Then he gets a Gonzalez to strike out swinging. Goes 2 fastballs in a row, top of the zone. And then today, sure, you had the first inning where Will Warren gave up a bunch of runs, and that I just see as one guy. It was just Will Warren. It wasn't like it was a bunch of guys fumbling the game away. But yeah, I saw good signs this inning that the Yankees, this series, that the Yankees would have most definitely, in the middle of the summer there during that 2.5 month stretch, would have definitely turned these 2 games that they won into 2 losses. So a good job there. I want to point out, giving some credit here to the bullpen. I thought the bullpen did a nice job in this series. And I thought there was a noticeable change in attack. I thought they were very fastball heavy. They were throwing strikes. The Yankee bullpen this entire series walked only 1 batter in the 9 2/3 innings they pitched. On Friday, they were attacking with their fastball. They weren't just relying on off speed to get chase. Bottom 7, Fernando Cruz comes into the game. Now, part of this is because his forkball's not been sharp lately, but he comes into the game and he uses his 4-seam fastball in this outing the most that he's used it since May 11th. He gets Narvaez to strike out looking. Didn't throw a single forkball in that at-bat. He was all 4-seam and sinker. Bottom of the 8th inning on Friday, Williams comes in. Devin Williams uses his fastball a lot more than he usually has, and it paid off. The command was up. The velo was good. He gets low to strike out swinging. He goes 2 straight 4-seamers up and in. And then he gets Masataka Yoshida to ground out, attacked him with a 4-seamer the entire at-bat. And then bottom of the 9th inning, Bednar comes in and continues to attack with his fastball as he usually does. Saturday, same thing. Bottom 6, Weaver attacking with his fastball as he usually does. Bottom 7, Williams comes in, uses his fastball. He threw 16 pitches, 11 of them 4-seam fastballs. Wasn't just spamming that screwball. Bottom 8, Fernando Cruz allows the home run, but after that, he leans into his 4-seam fastball for the final 2 outs. Bottom 9, David Bednar, again, continuing to attack with his 4-seam fastball. Sunday, I thought today, the bullpen attack with strikes. They were down in the game. They had nothing to lose, so they were throwing strikes, just trying to get outs. But again, Warren, a little too much fastball today, but still, I like the approach from the bullpen. And then lastly, before we start tipping our cap, I want to give some credit to Aaron Boone this series. I thought Aaron Boone made all the right moves. I did. I thought there were some smart moves that he made. You go back to Friday for base running reasons. He goes to Dominguez, pinch running for Stanton there late in the game. Friday and Saturday each. For defensive reasons, he goes Goldie at first base over Rice late in those games. And he goes Slater in left field over Dominguez late in those games. And then today, with a tough lefty and Garrett Crochet on the mound, he goes with the righty-heavy lineup. He's got Slater leading off. He's got Rosario over McMahon at third base. Goldschmidt's in there. Wells is getting the day off. Stanton's in there, going with the righty-heavy lineup. I didn't hate it. The Slater decision was interesting because the guy kind of sucks ass, but he is okay against lefties, and it's either Slater or you're going Dominguez right on left against Crochet. And we know how Dominguez is from the right side. But yeah. And then today, I actually like the fact that today, when you go to the bullpen, he went to Camilo Doval. I think Camilo Doval needs work, and I think he needs to get right. So, I can't really criticize any bullpen decisions, just because the bullpen's been so bad that, how do you criticize anybody he brings in? I know the Devin Williams over Luke Weaver decision on Friday, but again, you need to get Williams right before October. Part of me is annoyed as hell with that. We just recently ranted about that in an episode. But another part of me is like, I understand it because you need him. You need him in October. People are upset that Max Fried was left in a little too long. I guess so, since it came back to bite him. It's Max Fried. I don't know. Will Warren left in a bit too long today. He ended up getting out of it, though. I thought they should have went to somebody else, but he gets out of it. So I can't really complain about any of the decisions from Boone this series. Now, that said, let's tip our caps 2 more times. Aaron Judge. I'm going to tip my cap to the captain for the 12th time this year. We back-to-back series now tipping our cap to Aaron Judge, who's completely gotten back on track during the biggest stretch of the season for the Yankees, because that's what a captain does. That's what an MVP does. The MVP odds, by the way, are freaking hilarious. It's not even close how much Judge is ahead here. They got Raleigh at like plus 600 and Judge is like minus 1,000 something, as he should be. But yeah, Judge, great series, getting on base a ton. He's been going deep a lot more lately. So good for him. 12 tips of the cap this year. And Judge this series goes 5 for 10. 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 4 walks. So the OPS 1743 in these 3 games at Fenway Park. So good to see that, because he had been struggling against the Red Sox after that first series against them. But on the season, yeah, you want to talk about an MVP. I mean, the guy's batting .326 with a .447 on base, 1125 OPS, 48 home runs. The guy's the MVP. Doing what he does in right field. I know he's not the same anymore, but the injury, but guy should be the MVP. He's on a Yankees team that's a lot better than the Mariners. So Aaron Judge, no shock, the MVP for a 3rd straight season, or a 2nd straight season. Tipping our cap to him. Let's go to the bullpen. David Bednar. We're tipping our cap to him already for the 4th time since coming over. He pitches 2 times in this series, both on Friday and Saturday. And he was perfect in each of those appearances. So 2 innings, no runs, no base runners, 2 strikeouts, gets 2 saves and 2 save opportunities. Fastball working top of the zone, throwing that curveball, couple of splitters, getting outs, being great. 2.41 ERA with the Yankees. 18 2/3 innings, 27 strikeouts, 0.96 whip. That's with the Yankees on the year, as you see on the screen, 2.38 ERA. Been great. David Bednar. Bednar is the most reliable guy in the pen right now. He's the only guy you really trust. At the moment, the Yankees have 2 weeks to get this shit right. But Bednar needs help. Hopefully that comes soon. That's why I think guys like Camilo Doval and Devin Williams are key. They have to be right. They have to get right. I think that's a priority as the Yankees finish off the regular season against these bottom-tier competition, these bottom-tier teams. I think those guys should be pitching in high-leverage moments more often now. They're too important for October to ignore them. Games against the Twins, the White Sox, use them in high leverage. Get them right. Because Bednar is too important to be taxed before you get to October. You don't want that. The guy's been he's been pitching, 1+2 innings way too much. And you just need Doval and Williams to be what they can be. Their upside's way too high. They are weapons if they're right. So, if the Yankees decide to do a bullpen game in October, you're going to need guys like them. But yeah, David Bednar, tipping my cap to him for the 4th time. Now, before we wrap this one up, Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe is injured, and there's been a lot of comments from the Yankee organization. Some comments are kind of similar comments to the past where it seems like they're sticking up for their guy. But there are also comments from the organization that make it seem like there's a chance Anthony Volpe's done as a starting shortstop. Some of the Cashman comments are interesting. Even some of the Boone comments are interesting. But Jose Caballero has started 5 days in a row. Now the Anthony Volpe injury stuff, you got a cortisone shot. They let him play through it after all this time. It's a little weird. It's a little convenient. It sounds a little phantom DL stint to me. We'll keep an eye on it, but we've seen them do stuff like this. We saw them do it with DJ to avoid playing him in the postseason last year. We've seen them do this in the past. Because if it's not phantom DL or if it's not a phantom injury, it's kind of a bad look again. Kind of reminds me of the Rizzo situation. But yeah, I mean, you got to kind of lean into Jose Caballero now. The guy's been awesome. In 31 games with the Yankees. 262 average, 352 on base, 475 slug, 827 OPS, 15% walk rate. He's playing solid shortstop. He's got great chemistry up the middle with his buddy Jazz. Apparently they've known each other a while. Picking up timely hits in spots that Anthony Volpe would strike out on. You know, fastball up in the zone, he'd strike out on that. Weak around to the third base side. Not Caballero right now. Picking up big-time stolen bases. Volpe's not even a threat anymore, right? That hop step has been caught up to. Caballero's got what? Caballero's got 46 stolen bases or something like that. And again, even when the bat regresses, he's got a great glove. He's got great range over there. A strong arm. The kid's got to be your starting shortstop. Big hits. He's been getting nothing but big hits as a Yankee. And he's been a great shortstop. So it's tough to win a World Series with a bad shortstop. It's kind of hard to find teams that don't have good shortstops and win. He's the opposite of a bad shortstop. Which means, unfortunately, he's the opposite of Anthony Volpe. And that's going to make such a huge difference in the postseason. So Jose Caballero, hopefully, does enough in this time where the Yankees see it and are like, we can't sit him. Because Volpe has become unplayable with how important these games are now. So that's the Volpe stuff. And yeah, the Yankees win 7 out of 10 or 7 out of 12. So up next for the Bombers, easy schedule the remainder of the way. You got, I think, 13 games left. You got 13 games left. You're in Minnesota for 3, starting tomorrow. And the next weekend, you're at Baltimore for 4. And then you're home against the White Sox for 3. And then you're home against Baltimore for 3 to wrap up the regular season. So those are 13 games where you're really, if you want to try to get this top wild card spot, does 9-4 do it? I don't know what Boston's schedule looks like. I don't know. Houston, we'll see, but 10-3 should be what you aim for. I feel like if they go 10-3 to wrap up the season here, that would guarantee you that top wild card spot. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. I appreciate you all tuning in. So what we're going to do is wrap it up right now with our trivia question, and that's going to be it. Let's get to that right now. Okay, so in this episode of the show, episode 900 here of BD4, our trivia question. David Wells pitched for both the Yankees and Red Sox during his career, but which team did he log a career high in innings with? And your hint, it wasn't either of them. David Wells pitched for both the Yankees and Red Sox during his career, but which team did he log a career high in innings with? Hint, it wasn't with either of them. So, which team was that with? Folks, let me know the answer. Let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. I appreciate you all tuning in. And with that said, we're going to wrap this episode of BD4 up. I appreciate you all once again, and I'll see you very soon. Go Yankees. Let's go. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.